What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone has had a fun and adventure filled summer. I know I certainly have, and hopefully, everyone's been able to get out there and enjoy some of this gorgeous weather that we've had so far. Today's segment, what I want to talk to you guys about is relative humidity percentage, why I'm not a huge fan of it, the dew point temperature, and the heat index. So, first, let's start with relative humidity percentage. You know, it's it's basically just a calculation. So it's the percentage relative to the dew point temperature and the actual outside air temperature. And it's just a basically the higher the percentage, the closer that the outside air is to being saturated. Now, does that exactly mean that when you go outside, if it's 99% relative humidity, are you going to be feeling that mugginess, that humidity? No, you're not always going to feel that. And the reason being is the true measure of moisture content in the air is the dew point temperature. So let's say, dew points 58 degrees, outside air is 62 degrees, relative humidity is extremely high, close to 100%, and you go outside and you feel fine. You don't really feel that humidity. Well, here's the reason why, because dew points at 58, moisture content in the air is not very high. You're not exactly going to feel that mugginess. So I've got a chart here that I want to show you guys that explains things a little bit further. And the reason being that one says east of the Rockies, one says west. West of the Rockies, much drier climate. They don't have as high of a tolerance or experience humidity as much. So that's why these numbers are different. So since we are east of the Rockies and in the Midwest, I want to talk about east of the Rockies. So 56, 60 degrees, it's pleasant. It's pretty dry outside. You're not really feeling muggy at this point. 61 to 65 degrees for a dew point temperature, remember, is you're starting to feel that a little bit more. You go outside and you're like, oh man, it's starting to get a little muggy here. 66 to 70 degree dew point temperatures, you're feeling that humidity. You're walking outside and your skin's getting damp really quick. You feel like you could start sweating any minute, especially if the sun's beating down on you. And the heat feels heavier at that point. 71 to 75, it is very, very humid outside. You are absolutely feeling it at this point. People, even with a higher tolerance for this kind of thing, are feeling this, and it's a very, very heavy heat. And then 76 or higher for a dew point temperature. At that point, if it's that humid, it's not even worth going outside. So, that's why relative humidity in my opinion just doesn't tell you the whole story. And I feel like looking at the dew point temperature, you're gonna know and be more informed on how humid it truly is outside and whether you're gonna be feeling it or not, and whether you need to prepare by bringing a ton of water with you wherever you go, doing outside activities and that sort of thing. So that's my reasoning behind why I'd rather look at the dew point temperature than the relative humidity percentage. And the reason being that I want to talk about all this is over the next 3 days, we are going to experiencing here in the Midwest excessive heat. And the heat index is going to be very, very high. Northern Iowa is going to be seeing heat index anywhere from 100 degrees, 105 degrees, sometimes 106, 107. And then central Iowa, southern Iowa, Des Moines and south, it could get up to 115 degrees for a heat index. And heat index is just the apparent temperature, with the dew point temperature, so moisture content in the air, and the temperature outside, the higher both those numbers go, higher the heat, the hotter it feels outside, the hotter it actually feels, and the more you really feel that heat. And so I've got a little chart here to show, when dew points are this, temperature is this, and this is what the heat index more than likely is going to be. And it doesn't take much for it to hit 100. We get dew points in the mid 70s, temps in the low to mid 90s. We're there already, and that's what we're kind of going to be seeing over the next 3 days, Wednesday through Friday. We're going to be seeing that. And an excessive heat warning, if you guys see that, what that basically means is there's not going to be much of a break at all from the heat. Even in the overnight hours, temps are still going to be in the mid to upper 70s, and dew points are still going to be in, the upper 60s, sometimes in the 70s. So, there's really no break. It's going to feel hot and heavy even in the overnight hours. So an excessive heat warning just means for a period of, 2 to 3 days, there's going to be really no break from the heat. So I hope you guys learned a little something from this here, and we'll take a look at that dew point temperature before you go outside. So, you'll have, knowing this, you're going to have a better idea of what's going on out there as far as how muggy it feels. So hope you guys, take precautions over the next few days and really just prepare, have a lot of water with you, wear cooler clothing, wear brighter colors, so you're not absorbing all that sunlight and all that heat. And just, be careful out there. If you need to come inside in air conditioning, do that, take breaks, because heat exhaustion and heat stroke are nothing to mess with. Nothing to mess with. And when heat indexes are going to be as high as they will over the next few days, definitely going to be important to stay safe. So thank you guys for watching so much. Thank you so much for the support and everything. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. And I will see you guys soon. Stay safe.
Day and night, I toss and turn.